Next up, Bill Shufelt, the founder of Althletic Brewing. There he is, coming up to the stage. Round of applause. Hello again. Good to see you. Either mic and your timer.
Hey everyone, I'm Bill Shufelt, the founder of Althletic Brewing Company in Connecticut. First off, before I start, I just want to give a big thank you to Brewbound and the BevNet teams, not only for the hospitality this week, but all the help and advice they give startup founders. So I'm up here to talk about great tasting non-alcoholic beer, which is much like a foreign language for a lot of people, I'm sure. But that's exactly what we are out to do. We're not out to make great tasting non-alcoholic beer, we're out to make great beer. That involves no compromises in your flavor, taste, anything. There's a big problem out there. America has a huge beverage void for the current modern and healthy adult. Nothing on this shelf has changed in 30 years. If you think about how much the taste preferences in the craft beer market and ingredient preferences have changed, how is it possible that an area of the supermarket or liquor store hasn't changed in 30 years? And that's where we come in. We believe you should be able to be healthy, active, and at your best all the time and not have to make sacrifices. And that's why we make great tasting non-alcoholic beer for healthy and active adults. It really all starts with team, quality and team. And that's a huge testament to our co-founder and head brewer, John Walker, who I'm incredibly thankful for teaming up with. He's super talented, has been a part of multiple Great American Beer Festival winning teams, has an incredible recipe palette. Together, we worked on the science, brewing over 100 batches of home brew together to figure out our proprietary process. We brew our beer in our production facility in Connecticut, dedicated entirely to non-alcoholic beer, and we serve our beers in the first tap room in the country that's dedicated all to non-alcoholic craft beer. Pretty wild. In terms of occasions and impact, this company grew authentically out of a total void in our life. We were missing this product. 70% of adults, as you can see in the graph, have less than 2 drinks a week. 40% have no drinks a week. That's really our target customers, the 25 to 40-year-old healthy and active adult who's a weekend warrior, but also has a professional job they don't want to derail. And really, everyone can aspirationally look to that customer and feel good about drinking non-alcoholic beer. And there are all sorts of occasions that fits in the modern life, be it family occasions, outdoor occasions, everything. It sounds crazy, but non-alcoholic beer could be the next IPA market. As Eric said very eloquently yesterday, the beer market in Europe is 10 to 15% of the total beer market, while it's 0.3 to 1% of the US beer market here. The IPA market's only 4 to 7%. If you think about it, non-alcoholic beer could be huge in that landscape in the modern healthy world. And we're not out to cannibalize occasions, we're out to add to the craft beer world. Multiple breweries in Connecticut serve our beers on tap and are adding occasions to craft. In terms of our actual beers, we have a Golden Ale and IPA. Both have won awards on both continents in the US and Europe. They're both fully fermented. They've won awards versus alcoholic and non-alcoholic beers and do very well in blind taste tests with craft beer writers. And looks like I'm out of time, but we donate 2% of all sales to trail and park cleanups as a healthy and active way to connect with our community. Thank you guys very much.
A lot of information in there. You got it in on just about 3 minutes. Well done. Ryan, we saw a lot of information about the potential for non-alcoholic beer. What are your thoughts, and what are your thoughts on the numbers that were provided in this presentation?
Yeah, I think the numbers are interesting. The one point I kind of question is if 30% don't drink at all, would they then lean towards something that is a non-alcoholic beer or something that's non-alcoholic that doesn't have the word beer in it? I think more of your market, maybe what Nielsen was talking about earlier with the millennials and younger people that are not drinking intentionally but aren't opposed to the idea of beer.
Yeah, we've seen that both overseas and here. The non-alcoholic beer market's actually growing the fastest among 25 to 34-year-olds, which is an exciting demographic, and it's very weighted in the female population as well. So both of those occasions add very well to the craft beer market as it currently is. And to your point, yeah, I don't think all 40% of those people are going to jump in and start drinking craft beer. But that just kind of speaks to the amount of white space that kombucha, non-alcoholic beer, functional beverages all have to play in. So I think it's just really exciting. And at 0.3 to 0.5% of the beer market, if it gets to even 5%, that would be an absurd win. So.
Can I just get you to slide up over here, Bill? Thank you so much. Dave, do you drink a non-alcoholic beer? And if you do, what do you think of Althletic Brewing?
So I probably more than anybody in this room, I did drink a lot of non-alcohol beer for a long time. So I like the idea. My question that I'm stuck with is, why pigeonhole yourself? I actually think if you went out and made great beer, it would elevate the image of your non-alcoholic beer and provide you with significantly more resources to invest into your efforts.
Yeah, we have all the heart in the world for the craft beer market, and we are only trying to add to that market and not cannibalize those occasions. We're served in about 10 to 20 Connecticut tap rooms, keeping people at the tap rooms longer, helping bigger groups celebrate. And because of that, we have 5 great craft breweries in the town we're in Stratford. They all do great beer. We're thinking about bringing one into our tap room to add to that environment. We think there's more than enough opportunity to keep our hands full in non-alcoholic beer, and that's just what we're really excited about. But thank you.
Carmen, Bill talked about trying to reach that 30% of folks that don't drink beer as a target market. I mean, do you think that's a challenging idea? Do you think that's a challenging plan for Athletic Brewing?
I don't know. I'm really bullish on non-alcoholic beers, so I think that it's a good strategy. I'm curious though if low alcohol beers might not be able to, especially for that 70% who's drinking 2 times a week. Like maybe a low alcohol beer that could get you a little bit more body and flavor in the product itself might be a solution as well.
I think that's a great point, and there's tons of white space in the low alcohol market too. And as Eric spoke to yesterday, we're trying to. We haven't entirely ruled that out. It's just we think there's a huge opportunity in terms of reaching this demographic, and we thought the educational hurdle would be huge trying to get our beers to market. And our main marketing strategy is we sponsored 65 athletic events this summer, everything from Ironmans to marathons, ultra marathons. And we found at the finish lines of these races, people needed very little help telling them where this fits in their life. And we found they'd hang out there and just start listing occasions where they were going to consume our beers. So it's fun to find those loyal fans, even with the non-alcoholic stigma attached to it.
Sure.
Tom, the liquid itself, in terms of all the non-alcoholic beers that you've consumed over your lifetime, where does Athletic Brewing stand?
I'm a huge fan of the idea of non-alcoholic beers and low-alcohol beers. I think the struggle is trying to perfect one and actually unlock making a flavorful and kind of interesting NA beer in a beer segment, right? I mean, it starts off as trying to emulate beer, and for me, it's the same challenge I have with gluten-free versus gluten-reduced beverages. Crafted to remove gluten tastes like beer. Gluten-free beers do not. They're a different category for me, and so this gets into a little bit of that same space. I think that this is better than the IPA NA that I had from Partake last year in that it has some body. It's more than just hop tea. There's some decent aroma. There's a lingering bitterness, and I don't know if that's from the lack of alcohol, which I assume it is. There's also an interesting body that I'm assuming you're getting from some DME or some maltodextrin add back. There's a slightly cooked doughy character too that comes off as maybe pasteurization that I'm not quite sure of, but I think that if you unlock some of those little micro adjustments, you've got a great product. It's one of the better NA ones I've had.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, we don't cook off at all, so that's interesting. I hadn't heard that before. We do run a lot of blind taste tests. We were up in Boston last week running blind taste tests on live radio with craft beer writers and different stuff, and in none of them was it able to be picked out against really well-recognized craft beers. So we're excited about that. But thank you guys. I really appreciate all your feedback.
Nicely done. We're out of time. Fred, I'll come to you at the next one. Thank you.